We have Bruce live in the locker room in Tallahassee celebrating on the field with the Flores. And I don't know why, like, we were able to run the ball so well in the first half, especially to the left side, and then all of a sudden we started to abandon it. And like I said, there is some inconsistency.
How are they going to approach this game? How are they going to beat this Florida State team?
Well, we're going to break you guys.
Okay, that's it. The show's over.
In the story, we're going to break you guys. Look, and I'm joking, but it's true.
Lord, the climb continues, KB. Oh my God!
I am sweating.
Look at my heart. Look.
You know what? Yeah, I have so much to say.
To Seminole Sideline 365. My name is KB, and with me, as always, is the old man. How is it going, old man? How is your beginning of your week going?
Oh, it's hot as hell. Hot as hell down here in Florida, KB.
It's hot here too. So I don't want to hear that.
I saw that.
I've been taking the dogs for a walk after lunch. Try to get them after, get my exercise after I eat. And it was like 92, 93 today. And the dog was struggling on the back end of the walks. It was hot.
They wanted to go into the air conditioning.
I want to as well, but you could tell she was slowing down the sniff because she wanted to get a break because it was.
Yeah, actually, I see the temperatures even all the way up the coast to Maine were like in the high 90s.
Oh, well, it's supposed to get even hot. Like this week, we're going to get a high of 97 on 96 on Friday, 97 on Saturday and Sunday. So it's only going to go up from there. So
that's crazy. I mean, we went for a walk. Like it was like 5:30 or 6. It's a mile loop, and we did 2.5 miles. But there's a lot of shade along that loop.
Yeah.
And there was a little bit of a breeze because I wear a big floppy hat to keep the sun off of me, and that thing was blowing around. But with that, it wasn't too bad. But it was so humid. I mean, I don't know what your humidity is, but it's about 80, 90% here.
No, it's like the opposite. Well, around here in Virginia, it was like 30%, but it's just it's dry heat. It was like, but if you go closer to DC, that's when it gets like that swampy type weather. So we get it both. But hopefully y'all are surviving out there. It's great to be back. Obviously, as we get closer to the season, things get more exciting around the football program. But obviously, it's great to have some more action with the baseball program and how they've performed and getting into the postseason here.
Absolutely.
The College World Series. So we'll be talking and breaking that down. We had a busy weekend, as you guys were probably watching.
And not to interrupt you, but a big shout out to our first viewer on the air, and that's Big Tom Shannon. Tom, thanks for joining us here this evening.
Yes, thank you everyone for joining us. We're glad to have you guys back.
There's another football fan, so go ahead, KB.
Yeah. No, so there's a lot of action this weekend in Omaha. Obviously, as many of us were watching with the Tennessee game and obviously last night's game against UVA. So we'll be breaking those down, getting y'all's thoughts, our thoughts. And because it was, by all accounts, a controversial Friday night. But it's something that, just before we get started there, I have a friend that's in Omaha right now.
Really?
So, a work colleague and a friend. She didn't know it was going on.
Oh my God!
Her brother just moved there, and so she was in town. She didn't realize the College World Series was going on. I wasn't following it. She's not a fan of Florida State or anything, but got into town and couldn't book a hotel room.
Oh,
so her parent had booked her in some hotel like on the outskirts of Omaha. And she goes into this hotel room, and she's like kind of sketched out where she got booked because they couldn't find anything. She finds blood on the curtain, the shower curtain.
No.
Yeah, she goes, there's some guy screaming in the room next to me. There's blood coming down the shower curtain. He's like, she comes on Zoom the next day for work. She's like, guys, I'm running on 3 hours of sleep maybe because I didn't go to sleep the entire night. She's like, it was a horror film.
Oh.
But then she texted me over the weekend and said she was at the UVA game on Father's Day and that it was awesome. She's like, the cultural series is a great experience, but that hotel I was in was not great. So.
Hey, can we rack out on her brother's couch next year when
No,
the Knowles go back?
I'm gonna ask her. But yeah, she said it's great. She said it's great down there. So
I'm gonna check out the prices of those hotels after this show. I bet you they're just jacked up.
I was looking up. I was like, "Do you need me to go book you into something nicer?" She's like, "I wanted to go to the Kimpton or something." She's like, "But I wasn't gonna pay $800 a night."
I know it's That's bullshit. I'm sorry. I don't like to curse on the air, but this stuff is getting outrageous on these hotels. Well, last year during football season, I told you I bought a mattress that fits in my car.
Oh,
I mean, if that's what I got to do, but I'm not gonna pay these.
I want to see you do that
money.
in 93.
No. Well, in football season, it's not, except in August and September. It is.
Yeah.
Okay. Hey,
yeah.
Like you said, man. Like you said. First of all, the Seminoles are there. I mean, this is where Florida State has always been. They're going to the College World Series was an expectation. It wasn't a goal. It was except for the last few years.
Based on last year, yeah.
They've been there 24 times. They had gone, until the last couple of seasons. And so under Coach Martin, they were there all the time. It was a expectation. It wasn't a goal. It was, you were expected to be there. But we've never, ever come away with the big trophy in Omaha. So, listen, just to start off with, it's been unbelievable baseball there. Unbelievable. Not just for the Seminoles, but for all the other teams there. The games have been really exciting thus far. But the two games we're going to talk about so far are the Tennessee game and the UVA game and what's coming up next tomorrow. So, but the overall experience here, what a great stadium. The crowds have been wonderful, huge crowds there, and seeing a lot of exciting baseball. And this isn't, we call it college baseball, it's minor league baseball. This is at least AA or AAA type of baseball you're seeing, because these guys are paid now. These guys are paid now. A lot of them are paid. So that's what we have. So it's been exciting.
Yeah, no, it's been exciting. And let's talk about Friday's game, right?
Yeah.
The Tennessee game. As you all know, controversial game, a game that, we're talking very differently if Florida State closes that game out. Obviously, Florida State loses in the bottom of the ninth, giving up 4 runs. And they that's a game where you make yourself a second, third, probably a fifth drink at that point, based on how that game got closed out, because you're talking a whole different pathway to the final, right? If you win that game, you beat the top team in the tournament. You were leading that game for much. You were up 8-4 in the fourth, cruising. And then they slowly chip away. You gain 2 more runs in the seventh, and then you give up 5 in 2 innings.
Yeah, we gave up 5 runs in the last 2 innings, and that's
it's something that it's pitching's been sort of the Achilles heel of this team, if you want to say it. The offense has been there all year, and the offense has been there the last 8 games. They've scored more than 7 runs, I think, the last 7 games. The offense for Florida State is there. It's showing up in the postseason when you need it the most, and it's been there for most of the season. It's the pitching, though, that has been sort of inconsistent, dealing with injuries, whatever you may call it, but it's been the Achilles heel at times for this. But we would be remiss if we didn't point out the controversial...
Yeah, let's talk about that first. Let's talk about that first.
In the bottom of the ninth, Florida State's pitching started to struggle a little bit, right? You had 2 men on, 2
and
outs.
This is Brennan Oxford on the mound, out of the bullpen.
Out of the bullpen, right? You've already given up a couple of runs. You're trying to get out of the inning. Guys, you already have 2 on. They got the scoring or that tying run on base, and you come up here.
And that would have been the 3rd strike.
As soon as it happened, I was like, oh, he's out, right?
Yeah.
Pitcher thought he had it. And I'm assuming a bunch of people... Lynn Jarrett thought he had it.
Oh,
Controllers got thrown across rooms in fans' houses. But this looked like a.
Oh, that's clearly a strike. It's clearly a swing. And he broke what we call in baseball the plane. He broke the plane, and that's clearly a strikeout, period. Game over, KB. And that's really what that is. I mean, now.
This is what I hate about baseball. I mean, this is what I hate about baseball. Because I was texting I'm not the biggest baseball buff. I'm not watching every MLB game, things of that nature. So I texted one of my buddies who grew up playing baseball, high school, all this stuff. I said, you got to explain this to me, because all I'm seeing on Twitter and online is that it's a 50-50 call. It's not, No, it's not
50-50.
And I'm like, I don't understand a game that has a 50-50 call. Like, a game can come down to something like this where it's not playing this day, and you couldn't even you couldn't bring this to replay. I'm like, if anything, I thought they brought more replay to baseball for things like this. Why couldn't this go to replay? And apparently in college, this is not replayable. You can't go to a booth.
Reviewable.
And which I think is crazy. If something's a 50-50 call, I would think of all things that would be the reviewable call, right? That's the call. Like, if not, let's go the robots. Let's take all the humans out of this, and let's make this all of the umpires robots, because every day, if anything I see out of the baseball world, and like I said, I don't follow baseball, but I get on Twitter here and there, all I see bitching about baseball is the umpires. This umpire is corrupt, or this umpire is taking money for gambling, and that's all I hear from the pros is that umpires suck. Or this specific guy, they know the umpires' names because they know the ones that screw up all the time. Why are we still using human umpires if they mess up this much? If they can't call a strike zone properly or consistently, or if they can't make calls like this, which is not the back ump, but it's the side judge who makes it, right? Why can we not fix this and get calls like this?
Right there is the best right there. That clearly is the batter striking at the ball, and that's clearly a third strikeout right there. He has what we used to call breaking the plane or breaking his wrist, okay, coming across, and that clearly, when it's being taught, that will be taught in umpire school, I guarantee you. And they'll ask people, if I was teaching, is this a strikeout right there? And a majority of umpires would say yes. A majority of umpires.
Majority. It's not, it's 50-50. Then that's the issue, right? This needs to be cut and dry. I don't understand a game where rules aren't cut and dry. And that's some of the times we had issues with football where it's like the catch rule was interpreted a different way.
Let's talk about this on a different level. Then we're going to move into the game a little bit, okay? Because there's more to the game than this one play. However, given this play, there's no doubt in our mind, he struck at the ball.
He's going around.
Broke the plane. He broke his wrist, whatever the hell you want to call it. That is the nature of sports has always been the human element of the referee, the umpire, whatever the hell, the head's linesman, whatever the hell you want to call these guys. It's always been that. Now, as the age of technology has come into sports, all of these sports now are loaded up with all kind of camera reviews. All right? Now, in this case, this play is not reviewable, and you cannot protest this call. The coaches cannot protest this. And in all fairness to Coach Link Jarrett of Florida State, he has been on the rules committee since last year, since last season, and including this season, at the beginning of the season, that they should make such plays, protestable. That in a game, as it did in this game, it changed the outcome of this very important game for the Seminoles.
Yeah, absolutely. So, yeah, we can talk about this here at Blue.
And let me add this, too. I don't know how much of the game. I saw the whole game yesterday against UVA.
Yeah.
The umpire took a ball to the throat. Okay.
Oh yeah, that was bad.
The ball, and if you saw the back of his helmet that he has on, his mask,
the camera,
all these cameras strapped to him, and when you have such an important play, there should be reviewable. I mean, it's a critical play where. You could have two. Let's say you have three of the umpires on the field come over, look at the play from different angles, and the best 2 out of 3 make the call. Fairness is done to both teams. have some rule that these games aren't having this controversy.
It's no different in my mind than if you're trying to determine if the ball crossed the goal line in football. Like, it's that crucial to know, is it over the goal line? Did it cross that line? And in football, that's a reviewable play, especially in crucial time.
Especially you have 2 outs in a game in the final at bat at the plate. What is more crucial than that?
That's what I'm saying. In college football, if it's under 2 minutes, it's not up to the coaches. The booth will automatically call it because they know it's a crucial time. They will review every play that they know is important. It's not up to the coaches anymore. It's up to the game will review it if they think there's human error there. And that's why I don't understand why they're leaving something so crucial to that up to the human decision. If it's really a 50-50 call, which I don't understand.
I'm gonna bet, but by next season, there'll be a change where the manager can object to this type of play, that he can object to any play. Why wouldn't you give the managers, I don't know, 2 calls that they can object to? It doesn't matter what the call is, whether it's a strike call, a ball call, an out at second base. You can throw your I object, I want a replay done on those 2 times.
Yep.
I mean, it's too simple. Why are they making this complex? Because in a crucial play like that, it's just unfair to all the players on both sides to have to live with that controversy. But for Tennessee, they moved on with a win and into the winner's bracket, and Florida State dropped into the loser's bracket, which is a tough battle once you go into that loser's bracket. And the last thing I have to say is we've pretty much taken a lot of the human call out of sports. So if you're going to go down that road, then make sure you do a good job and you don't miss something if you're going to use your technology. Because right now, you could take the balls and strikes away. I've seen it on MLB. They'll put up screens where you can see exactly whether it's a ball or a strike. And they've tried this in the minor leagues, in Major League Baseball. In the minor leagues, they have tried it and used the electronics to call balls and strikes. So this could be coming down the road.
Yeah, absolutely. So we could talk about that till we're blue in the face. You guys have heard it already, but that's just our little speech on it. Regardless,
let's talk about the rest of the game.
Yeah. I mean, the rest of the game is really that inning, right? You had the game in hand strongly, firmly in hand up until the 8th. You give a run in the 8th, that's fine. But after that play, obviously the wheels come off. He gets a hit right after that play. A couple of runs come in. I believe 1 or 2 runs come in after that, and then the wheels fully fall off. And then it comes down to pitcher, right? Oxford falls apart. And
let's start with Jamie Arnold first.
Yeah.
Jamie Arnold did not have what I would call an exceptional outing for him. He has been the Noles' #1, without any doubt, #1 ace starting pitcher this season. There's no doubt about that. But against Tennessee, he did struggle somewhat, okay? He pitched 5 innings. He gave up 8 hits, which is a lot, okay? 4 earned runs, 6 runs overall. He was responsible for 2 runners that he left on when Whitaker came in. 4 earned runs, and he only had 4 Ks, and he gave up a long ball. He had a good appearance, but it wasn't an exceptional appearance. Now, given, as you said, KB, that Florida State can score, when you're not at your best, they have been bailed out at times by their bats. And in this case, they were scoring runs. Okay.
Well, I think it was Moore who hit for the cycle. Was it Moore for Tennessee that hit for the cycle?
Yes.
I mean, that guy.
It was Moore.
Yeah, that guy
Moore.
was just.
You
couldn't stop him. He was knocking everybody. You couldn't
stop
him. And that's. I'll let you.
Let's move on, and then you can comment on what I've got to say here.
Yeah.
Then we bring in probably our next best, maybe second or third. That's debatable. Some fans will debate that. But we bring in, to relieve Jamie, we bring in Connor Whitaker. Okay. Connor has been up and down in performance over the season, okay?
Yep.
But he's come on strong lately. Connor comes in, pitches 3 innings in relief, gives up 6 hits. That's a lot of hits. And he gave up 3 earned runs, which was, I would say, a mediocre relief appearance. Okay,
great. That's not the 3 earned runs, a home run. It's not good. It
wasn't a great appearance. So your number 1 and number 2 pitchers, because you want to win this first game, in 8 1/3 innings, have given up 14 hits and they've given up 9 runs.
Yep.
That is a lot out of your first 2 pitchers. Okay, that's just the facts.
Yep.
Statistics don't lie. Okay?
And remember, at that point when he came in, you were up 8-4.
You were up 8-4, right? And so when he came in, he wasn't really able to establish himself, and it hurt. And then after that,
you're up 9-4. I'm sorry, you're up.
Yeah, you're not. Roll down to the pitchers again on the list there. Roll down. Yeah, and then Brennan Oxford. Now, Brennan Oxford is a 5th-year senior. He's one of your most mature guys on this team. He comes in. He's got he pitches to 1 batter, right? Pitches 1/3 of an inning, okay, and
no, what do you mean he pitched to 1 batter?
He pitched 1/3 of an inning. He pitched a
No,
third.
then he got taken out.
He got pitched 1/3 of an inning.
He gave up 3 hits.
Okay, and he gave up 3 hits.
Yeah.
And 3 earned runs were held against him.
He got knocked around from the moment
he got knocked around. He couldn't find the plate.
Terrible.
Yeah, he couldn't find the plate. He had a less than mediocre performance in that outing. Okay, this is the facts. Okay, this is facts. We're not here to beat up Florida State. There's nobody bigger fans than us. Okay, but that is the facts. So when we put aside the controversial strike, which would have ended the game, the wheels fell off. Okay?
And that's the difference. You can look at both ways. You can say, all right, he had already put 2 people on before that strike. But you say, well, he got in a situation where he had 2 outs. All he had to do was get that strike. We're talking about him differently, right? We're talking about him differently if that's called the correct way, right? So, and that's the hard part. If he gets that call, which we believe is the correct call, then he's the hero. He closed the game. We're moving on. We're on the right path. We're in the winner's bracket.
But it's like
without that call,
yeah.
The next pitch he gives it up, and all the runs start coming in, and now he gets the loss. So that is the tough part. He wasn't able to mentally rebound, from that, and he got knocked.
It's a very unfortunate.
It is
very unfortunate for Mr. Oxford, for Brennan. That one play is his. He's going to think about that the rest of his life. He comes off the hill. But you think about that as a player. I could come off the hill as a winner, in this game, and instead I get bounced around, and I didn't get it stopped. I mean.
But that's why yesterday was so big for him to get back on the hill against UVA, and
it's not. Yeah, it's unbelievable. But the bottom line is we couldn't get anyone out, and when you can't get the outs you need, and you give up that many runs in the final innings, you tend to lose.
Well, it's like any sport. You're playing the number 1 team in the damn tournament, right? You need to stop. It's like whether you think about like football or basketball. They were getting the momentum, right? They had the momentum. You needed a stop. The stop was getting that strike. You didn't get the call, and then they immediately took advantage of that, and they got the hit, right? You needed to stop the bleeding. You couldn't stop it. And their offense just took over. That is what great teams do. That's what elite teams do, and that's what Tennessee is. And that's no diss against Florida State, but Florida State had the advantage. They couldn't follow up
close
on
the
that
door.
And that's unfortunate because they had it and they didn't get the call, and they couldn't follow up with one more good pitch. And unfortunately, that's how it goes on that, because those great teams, they're not going to give you many chances to close them out like that. And Florida State knocked them around offensively. They knocked those pitchers around. They did a great job offensively.
Now let's talk about how our batting went down. You can pull that up. Pull up our stats. Now, the thing that stood out for me is our top offensive player, who's likely to still be a number 1 MLB draft choice, and that's James Tibbs. James Tibbs did not show up in this game. Okay, he was pretty well neutralized. Okay, he wasn't a factor. He had 6 at bats. He had 1 hit, which I think was a single. Okay, and I think he walked once, and he had 4 strikeouts.
Yep.
Now he's your number 3 hitter in that lineup. He's your biggest power guy. I'm going to talk about another guy here in a minute. But he was the guy I think everybody was watching and counting on, including scouts that are at these games.
Yeah.
And I'm just saying.
I know.
Okay, I'm just saying. He did not show up in that at the plate. He did not show up. Now, let me finish this thought, and then I'll throw it to you. The guy who did show up was Jaime. Some people call him Jamie, but it's Jaime Ferreira. Jaime Ferreira showed up and has continued a big push, not only through the Super Regionals and into the College World Series. Showed up 2 of 5, a home run, and 4 RBIs. Yep. Okay? And we haven't even talked about the UVA game yet. He showed up. He is a big-time player as well, and I believe he'll be after his showing now in this postseason play, I believe he's going to be a very high draft choice in MLB in that regard. So both these are terrific players. They're very good. One has had a much better series so far. Ferreira has had a much better series so far than Tibbs.
Yep. I think you hit it right, but something like that where Tibbs can go 1 for 6 with 4 strikeouts, and it doesn't matter to this team. They can still put up 11 runs, and that's the power of this team. This is a team that has a top 10 batting average across the entire year. You have guys that maybe not normally hit that hot are hitting that hot, right? And that's the danger of this lineup for any team, is that anybody can do it on any given day, and they've shown that across the year, and that's great, and that is the great thing to see, because we hope Tibbs kind of turns it back around, as we go into playing UNC tomorrow. But that's a dangerous part of this team. That's what you love to see on the offensive end, is that anybody can be dangerous at any time. And that's the thing that you love to see about this team. And I think that's Jaime and his story is great, being a type 1 diabetic and everything.
Oh, it's
hot at this point.
It's unbelievable.
It's great. It's great. His story is great. And the energy that he brings to this team. And you need guys like that, right? When it's not going hot for your stars, or who gets all the hype most of the time, you need other guys to step up and bring the energy when things get down. And especially coming off a tough loss like that, the things he did the next day, and we'll talk about that, but he did on Sunday against UVA, and the energy he brought in the big plays to keep them going and close out that game were unbelievable. So yeah,
let's talk about let me mention a couple other guys now I have thoughts on, and that is Mr. Dingus. Okay, Mr. Dingus, what a terrific player he is. Okay, he had 3 hits in this game, 2 RBIs. And he's just a terrific, he brings a lot of energy to the team. And I think he's a terrific player, and we need to mention his name. Okay, he's a very steady guy. He's the type of guy you want in your lineup, and he makes big contributions. Yep. So he's a big player in this game as well. Now, one of the comments I have that goes about one of the strategies. Now, strategy is a big part of baseball. A lot of managers, both major leagues and below, use statistics. They'll make changes for defensive players at the end of a game. Now, I don't know if you noticed, but I did notice, is that at the end of the game, I don't know if it was the 8th or the 9th, okay, when the coaching staff made a change, and that would have been approved by Link Jarrett, in center field.
Yeah.
They put, for defensive purposes,
Ross. They put Ross out there, right?
Yeah, they put Ross. Ross was moved in there over Williams. Williams was moved to left field.
Yeah.
Now, here's the problem with that, okay? Ross may have more mobility in center field. Center field is a lot harder to cover than it is on the edges, left and right. You've got much more field. He's got more speed. He has a lot of agility. However, has he seen any fly balls? Has he seen any of these sharp hit line shots during the game? No, he hasn't been in the game to see that. Now, trust me, I'm still playing softball at my age.
Yeah.
All right. And I play the outfield as well. I play at every position. But if you haven't seen a ball the whole game hit to you, a ball can fool you because there's perception, there from that batter, especially these baseballs that are juiced up, coming off juiced up aluminum bats, and you haven't seen a ball. Even the pitchers get to warm up. This kid hasn't seen anything. So I get it. That ball is hard to come down. Would Williams come down with that ball? Would Max Williams been better suited in center field where he's seen balls all night long? I say yes. I would have let Max Williams stay in that position and probably left my outfield alone. I understand the coaching move that's done all the time routinely. A ball gets hit over Ross's head and it scored, I think, at least a couple runs when that ball went over. He almost caught it. He stuck his glove up at the last chance, got turned around, it hit off the wall, and the races were on. So that is one decision I wonder if Link Jarrett ever thought he might have back. And look how far he had to run. And he got
that's
turned
not
around.
an easy play, though. I think
I didn't say it was an easy play. Did I say it was an easy play?
Was some of this positioning, were they playing too far in versus, not?
Well, he was way, if you pull it up again, you can see he's way in. They're playing the batter way in, and that was more, right?
Yeah, it's going to
No, that's not the play.
No,
that's not
it's
the
coming
play.
up. It's coming up right here.
Right here? Yeah, that's more. He was playing way in, but that's 405 feet, I think,
that's
back
not
there.
an easy play to make.
No.
How much space he had to make
Wait a
up
minute,
there.
KB.
But
I didn't say it was an easy
play.
play.
You said the fact that he wasn't in the game, so he wasn't prepared to make that play because he was cold coming off the bench.
I say it's harder.
I don't care who's in that. I don't think.
Okay, I'm just saying it's harder.
The distance he had to make up.
I'm just saying it. Hey, KB, I'm saying it's harder. It's like a quarterback.
Look at where he is. Look at where he is. He has to make a
I
quarterback
understand that. I understand that. He's put in position like that by the coaches. Okay, so they had him playing up a little bit, and this guy slammed it. I think that's more, right? 21. I think it is. Okay, doesn't matter. I've given my opinion on it, and you disagree with that move, right, or not? Do you agree with me or disagree with me?
I would trust the staff. They got the team this far. Okay. I'm not going to question their.
That's fair, and that's fair. I'm just giving an opinion. I'm just telling you, when you haven't seen a ball all night.
I think this is a tough play, regardless of who's there.
It is a tough play.
It is a tough play. You have to run, relocate.
It's 400, 405, 410 out there.
And then relocate in the lights.
He almost caught it.
Yeah,
he almost caught it. But that's my point. You just said he had to locate it in the lights. He hasn't been out there all night to catch a ball.
Yeah.
I'm done. I'm done with that. I'm done with that. So that play, that move, I thought was kind of interesting. Okay, That's my thoughts on this game here. A very tough loss, a loss that had a lot of emotion in it, and it would have taken a little while to get over that. But Link Jarrett, in no doubt, knows how to get a team over this. He was there in the World Series with Notre Dame. He played in the World Series there under Coach Martin. He is the right man in the right position for this Florida State team. And there is no doubt about who we have as our manager and will be here a good while because he knows his entire goal is to bring home a big trophy.
Yeah. I mean, that for a lot of teams, that loss in that way could break a spirit and could very much lead into a game you had a day or 2 days later, right? But fortunately, like you said, we have a great coach. We have a great roster. that's been through, what we went through last season. I think that's sharpened a lot of them and steeled a lot of wills. And then you go into Sunday's game against UVA.
Yeah.
And you do what you do, and you beat the brakes off of them, and you do it like you've done with your offense, your defense, your pitching comes to play, and you guys make some great plays in the infield, outfield, but you do it with 2 pitchers, and that's what you want to see. You shut them down. You didn't have to burn a lot of your arms. You get it done with, and like you said, and like we said, Oxford gets to go back out there, kind of redeem himself a little bit, get his confidence back up.
Yeah, leave this
2
up.
innings.
Yeah.
2 innings, no earned, a 1K, 1 walk, and he does it effectively, efficiently, without earned runs. And that's what you want to see. You want to get him back out there, get some more innings under him, get his confidence back up after what you just saw on Friday. And I think that was important because you're going to need him. You're going to need this guy going into playing UNC on Tuesday. I think that was important to him, important to this team to get his confidence, and then obviously winning the game. But doing it with just 2 pitchers was huge, and your offense once again put you on great footing early on with two earned within the first 4 innings, and then a huge 5th. Set yourself up for success. It took a little bit of that pressure off the team. But once again, you probably have that in your back of your brain. Well, what happened against Tennessee? But your pitchers set you up for success and closed out the game, which is great. So, I think, my impression of this team, this game was, you did what you were supposed to do. UVA is UVA. You think, it was interesting. I think you've had faced, I'm trying to remember how many times you faced UVA if we did face them, but regardless, you haven't faced UNC. I'm thinking about, no, but you didn't face UNC this entire year. That's not true with the scheduling. So you haven't faced UNC. You haven't faced UNC all year. But regardless, with Virginia, you came in the better team. You should have beat them, and you beat them accordingly. And you did it with your bats, and you did it with your defense, and you put in a full effort. You're going to need that against UNC, a team you haven't faced all year, but a team that you are better than. And I think, once again, Tibbs didn't have a particularly great game. He brought in an RBI. He walked twice.
Don't
but he was
steal my thunder now.
But he was more efficient, right? He took pitches. He got on base, which is important. He didn't strike out 4 times. He didn't strike out at all, right? He was more. He had
a base on balls that brought in a run. If I remember.
He did. He had 1 RBI, and he was more patient at the plate. He didn't take.
He was patient. He let some balls go that I'll tell you right now that I swing at. Yeah. In the games I play, and I swing at.
So I think that was the thing. Once again, you saw improvement game over game, and once again, it would be so easy to see a team digress after such a heartbreaking loss on Friday night, but you saw growth, and you saw a team that got better from Friday night into Sunday, and that was very encouraging. And then you saw what I thought was one of the plays was the play of the game. In the big hit, the big home run here.
It means that it's up here.
And this huge home run by your boy Jaime.
Jaime Ferreira goes deep ball, baby.
Huge hit here. Once again,
unbelievable.
The energy, the passion that he has for this.
This guy is a player.
Knocking the
snot out of that ball.
Just so much. He brings just so much energy to this team right now. Once again, not the guy that you would always think it is, but that's what you want to see coming off that loss on Friday. It was just so huge, and that basically closed out the game for me. That play right there, that home run, that energy, that gave me the confidence that they were going to close this game out right there. So I love to see that. I love to see that. There's not quitting this team. That team is locked back in. They know that they can beat anybody again. If we go on and if we do beat UNC, that we could beat Tennessee twice. Like, they are not afraid of who they're facing. I love seeing that.
All right, let me give you my comments on this, because you've already stolen some of the thunder. Tibbs was not a big factor in this game. He hasn't met expectations yet in these 2 games from a plate standpoint. Okay. And I'm sure he's pressing a little bit now. Hitters tend to press when they're the number 1 guy on the team, that he knows he's going to be a high draft choice at the end of this season. And he's pressing a little bit now because he's not hitting the ball the way he'd like to. But his buddy, Jamie Ferreira, as you've mentioned, comes up and has I think 2 for 4, 2 home runs, 4 RBIs, scores 2 runs himself, of course. And that's huge. And Ferreira has been on fire. If you look at his stats, for the series so far, he has 3 home runs now in 2 games. Yep. So you don't think the eyes are flashing up on Jaime Ferreira big time. But to me, the more important part, because Florida State has shown they can score runs. They're averaging 8.5 in 2 games now. They're averaging 8.5 runs a game. Yeah. That is enough runs to win games if you get the pitching, and we got the pitching from Mr. Dorsey, Carson Dorsey, who is probably most of the season was the number 3 or the number 4 guy on this staff. Okay, he battled his way to be into the starting, and what a performance!
Great performance
on
a ton of pitches.
He looked so confident in every inning that he was out there. He's a guy, as a younger guy, who came up and really took over this game. 7 innings pitched. That's a lot now. In today's pitching, okay, that's a lot of innings. How many did you say? 106?
106, yep.
That's a lot. 9 hits. Gave up 9 hits, 3 earned runs, and he struck out 7. He kept them off balance the whole time. And as you added, Brennan Oxford, our most seasoned guy, the most mature guy in that bullpen, who had a rough day against Tennessee, came in, delivered 2 strong innings, just like a bullpen guy should do, okay? Yep. A guy has to come in, close out the game, 2 innings, gave up 1 hit, 1 strikeout, no earned runs. This was a perfect game for Florida State. They had 2 pitchers. They didn't have to go to anybody else. No. They didn't have to go, well, shit, we got to bring in Jamie Arnold, which they don't want to do. Why? They don't want to bring in Arnold because he might have to pitch against, guess who, if we win? Tennessee. North Carolina.
Or
North Carolina.
Yeah,
he is going to pitch against North Carolina. He'll be the starter. All right? And they'll get right back in their rotation. All right? So this was really the game. We can't forget our shortstop, Mr. Lodish. Even Mr. Lodish got into the long ball action, hit a home run. It was 1 for 3. He even cracked one out of there. Yep. So overall, this was a really an ideal bounce back game against probably not one of the stronger teams, Virginia. But let's not forget, they're a very good team. So very happy with that result.
Yeah, no, I think you have to be happy with his result, especially in relief. I mean, he did it. Oxford did it in 31 pitches, and that's what you saw: efficient relief in 2 innings, 31 pitches, extremely effective. And that's going to be the thing, right? I think your offense is going to show up. Your offense has showed up all postseason. They showed up all the rest of the season, but especially the postseason, they've done their job, and it's doing it from people you may not always expect it from. And if Tibbs starts to show up. And I don't think I'll disagree with you. His bat hasn't showed up. But I think his pitch showed up yesterday. He got 2 walks. He was accountable for 1 RBI and 1 run, and that's at 2 on 2 at bat, right? So I think his bat wasn't there, but he still was able to make an impact on the game, and that's what he was. He can still make an impact without it showing up with his bat, with his eyes, with making an impact. So everyone on this team made an impact, and that's if this pitch rotation can find a way to really lock in and hold teams to 2 to 3 at runs. And that's the thing with UNC. We can touch on this with the UNC game coming up. UNC is not lining up offensively.
You're right. That was the note I was going to bring up as we talk about the game tomorrow. UNC is not hammering the baseball.
No, they are not locked. And that's going to be advantage Florida State. They have not been hammering the ball. They have not been lining up the scoreboard. Their pitching has been kind of their strength. Yeah. But they have not been in the postseason really effectively been hitting the ball. They've been facing some tough teams, but at the same time, they have not been on the board.
They beat UVA 3-2 in a very close game, and I'm assuming they threw their number 1 pitcher in that game. and then they came and when they lost to Tennessee 6-1. All right, so this is an elimination game tomorrow for both teams, and so they're not hammering the baseball. I like our odds. I like our odds against North Carolina, and I'm going to tell you right now, I believe the Noles are going to take this game. They've got their ace going, who I expect will have a better outing than he did against Tennessee, and I expect Mr. Tibbs's bat to come alive. I think Ferrera's bat will stay hot, and I think other guys on this roster are gonna make a lot of trips across home plate, and we're gonna score a lot of runs, and we're gonna win this game. And I'm not saying that just because I'm a Florida State guy. I think this is a good matchup for us at this point in the losers bracket.
In some they keep it. UNC has scored, I believe they've scored 6 runs in their past 3 games. Florida State has they have 17 in their past 2.
Yeah.
So
and that adds up. Those stats mean something.
Yeah, that when you look 3, 4, 5 games back, UNC has. It's not just one game they're having a bad game. Every team can have a bad game, stuff like that. But you start to look back where it's more 5, 6, 7 games. This is a UNC team that just does not line up the scoreboard, but they tend to hold teams to lower score amounts as well. That they do have a decent pitching staff. They held UVA to 2. Tennessee just overpowered them, but they held Tennessee to 6. But still, I think advantage is Florida State has a very high-powered offense.
Well, what would be ideal now?
I think this is an ideal matchup for Florida State.
I think
this is the best matchup.
This is the matchup they want. This is the matchup they want. They're going to have Arnold come out. He's got to give them at least good 6 innings. I hope 7, 6 to 7 innings. Whitaker's going to come back as out of the bullpen. Whitaker was not going to pitch against UVA. Link Jarrett said that. Link Jarrett said he wasn't going to pitch. He'll come out, and then if you have to bring in Oxford, those are your first 3 guys you're going to see.
Honestly, I think it's less. It's about pitching, but I think it's less about pitch. I think it's about getting on the board early. Put the pressure on them. Make them feel the offense and lean on that. And then make them press themselves. Make them press at the batter box and then lean on your top pitchers. Right. You don't want to burn 3 or 4 pitchers tomorrow because if you win, you're going to have to play Tennessee the next day. So you don't want to have to burn your bullpen knowing that you have to play the top team the next day. So if you can put some heavy runs on the board, 3 or 4 runs in the first 2 or 3 innings, make them feel that, force their batters, and then lean and just and then let's get some quick outs and get out of there, right? You do not want to have to burn 3 or 4 arms tomorrow. If you could do it as effectively as you did Virginia with 2 guys, knowing that you have to play Tennessee the next day, 24 hours later, the game, Tennessee's, if you win, is going to be on June 19th, like it says there at 2 p.m. That's literally 24 hours later. Literally 24 hours later. So you're going to have to win 3 games in 3 days. That is not easy to do when you're playing. No,
it's all about the pitching at that point. The
exactly.
hitters are the hitters.
So you have to be
it's about how deep you are in pitching.
You have to win, but you want to be efficient.
The ideal setup is Arnold and Whitaker.
Yeah,
that's it. That's the ideal setup.
But score early. Score
early.
Make them feel it.
And Link Jarrett may, depending who they throw, but I assume they're going to throw their number 1 or number 2 guy, whoever's ready. And Link Jarrett is probably going to tell his batters, a lot of times they'll tell him, I want you to take a strike, make him throw a first strike, because you're trying to get his pitch count up. It's about getting guys' pitch counts up, okay? Yeah. So if you can get that number 1 guy out of there in 2 or 3 innings, then they have to go to their pen where it's weaker. It's weaker. They know that, but they're also in an elimination game. They'll throw anybody. And so will Florida State if they have to.
And that's the thing. They'll throw, each team will do it with all. But if you can score if you can score early, then there's less pressure to throw another guy out.
But Florida State is set up now pitching-wise to have the perfect scenario.
Yeah.
Arnold, Whitaker, and Oxford if you need them. Then you don't have to throw Dorsey at all, okay? He can wait. He can wait it out. They're not going to throw Dorsey just through, but if they had to, they'd probably go. But if you get into this offensive battle and it's 10-9, 11-12, which can happen in these games because the pitching falls way off after the number 1, 2 guy. Yeah. And, let's face it, Florida State is without one of their top guys coming into this season. That's Cam Leiter. Okay, yep. Cam Leiter. They thought he might have an opportunity to go in the World Series here, but he was not able to. They're not going to risk his career based on this World Series, and it's unfortunate because yes, pitching is kind of the unknown element for Florida State. We're hoping for a great outing with Arnold, and we'll go from there because I think the bats are there, and they cannot go silent. Those bats need to be hot, and they need to be ready for tomorrow at, I think it's 2 p.m. start time.
2 p.m.
If the weather holds up out there. They had that long delay with Florida, and who did Florida play?
They played.
I forget who.
A&M.
Yeah, that went a 4-hour delay. They didn't start till 11 p.m. at night. So
Florida State cannot. They played NC State yesterday.
Yeah.
They can't afford. You can't afford delay because once again, if they keep that time tomorrow, you need to get this done as quickly as possible because
This is the game.
Three games in 3 days. It is the well, yeah. There is no other game. You have to win the game.
But this is a game they can win.
Oh yeah, it's a great matchup for Florida State. Yeah, this is a great matchup for them.
Well, it's hard
all
to
about conserving your talent. You need to win this game and do it without burning as many arms as possible.
Like you said, North Carolina's in the last 3 games that they've been involved with have scored not many runs.
6 runs.
6 runs. Now that is not great offense. Okay, and that's got to be a little concerning to their manager. So it's going to be a great game. Yeah. And there's some, let's just say this. You and I have talked offline. There are some creative ways to watch this game if you don't have some of the right streaming channels.
Yeah.
Okay. And I found that very refreshing.
Yeah. So, 2 p.m. tomorrow.
How the hell that happens, I don't know.
I'll be in a meeting, but I'll be trying to catch the back. I have a
what
meeting
am I doing
can't miss
tomorrow?
No. But I will try to catch the second half of the game. Because
it's going to be, you know what? It's just great to see Florida State baseball back.
Yeah.
This is the first all baseball game we've done. Now we've done all softball shows.
Last year we had softball, which is great.
We didn't have anything baseball to cheer about last year.
Yeah, no.
But now everybody's on board,
They rotated.
But there's a lot of FSU fans out there, and that's an expensive journey, even for the fans. If you're not a player family member, you're out there for like 2 weeks. Okay. Yeah. You're out there for like 2 weeks. So if you have an RV, maybe you should rent an RV. That's it.
That could be more pricey.
An RV for 2 weeks? Well, it could be. You're right.
I think that's pretty pricey during the summer.
It's an expensive thing, but we've had a lot of fans out there. A lot of the animal section guys are out there, guys and gals. So it's exciting for Florida State baseball. And I'm going to say this again. Link Jarrett is the right guy for this program. He's a winner. He's intense. He went out and shook up this whole roster in one season, and he's going to be continuing to make good picks when we get into the offseason, him and his staff.
Yeah, let's here's a clip. Oh, sorry. Of Link Jarrett. They posted this.
It's all right. You got it?
Yeah, here it is.
Okay.
Things that as the game's going, I kind of hear, you got to have somebody on the mound at the end of the game to trust. If you remember one thing I've told you, let it be that. And then, 3 hours later, he'd say, if I've ever told you one thing, don't get beat deep with, it was on. And I just hear that all the time. And he's the best. Like, he's the best that's ever coached this sport at this level. This is a different game than when you watch the Yankees and the Red Sox play. And he mastered the art of coaching at this level. He did. So I hear it. I think about it. And it burns me up that I didn't participate in the games that won it for him. It's tough. I'm happy to be here, but I'm not going to be happy until we've delivered the result.
There you go. Yep. I mean, that is a great segment, KB, that you threw up there. This guy, because Mike Martin was the Bobby Bowden for baseball, like
Yeah.
Bowden was for football. Okay,
Yeah.
I mean, these guys are legends. They're always going to be legends there. And Mike Martin took these teams, Florida State, to the World Series constantly. It was an expectation.
Yeah.
If you didn't go, what the hell's going on? You know.
Yeah.
So, but Link Jarrett is an intense guy. He's a baseball guy. He knows his program. He played here. He knows his baseball.
Yeah.
But he can't throw the ball to the plate. He can't hit the ball. He can only try to put the right guys in the right positions and give them opportunities.
Yeah.
And that's the managers. I know it scares him a little bit to go too deep into his bullpen. You know, it does. You can see it on his face, and it should. He knows. So tomorrow's a game. We got to get the bats out there and get some good pitching in the first two guys.
Well, I think having Link more prominent and this performance now year two, because last year things weren't great, and you still bring very much like Mike Norvell in having to rebuild. Mike Martin Jr. didn't do the best job. It's tough following your father and like the expectations of that. And so Link coming in brand new, former player, having coached great at Notre Dame, and kind of building things back up, and the complete turnaround from last year is unbelievable. And where they are now is kind of what now people are saying, well, what about the basketball program? Why we have a young
That's another show.
No, but that's it's coming up more and more. I've seen it finally, people asking this question of like, we have Mike Norvell who's done the same thing, brought the program back from where the lowest of the low, built it back up the right way, the right players, the right coaching staffs, the right culture. And now Link Jarrett brought in the right guy from kind of the bad in between, not the right in between coach, right players, right culture, built up, got them to where they need to be again. And now they're saying, well, what's next? You already have soccer is already in the right place. You have softball in the right place. Women's basketball is in the right place.
Track is in the right place.
Yeah.
I think swimming and diving are pretty much in the right place.
But the most prominent sport is basketball right now. And now
it's going to be interesting.
That's a whole other thing. So, but
I think we'll be running a lot of shows on that this coming season.
But that is the most prominent question now finally being asked. So we'll discuss that later. The last thing I want to bring up before we let everyone go is there was a rumor, there was tweets going out there that local media weren't getting they're kind of being pushed out of the press conferences. So I want to play a clip and see if you had any reaction.
I always have a reaction
to the rumors that FSU media wasn't getting access to the press conferences. So I'll play this real quick.
Last question right here. And I'm good because some of our local, I just want to make sure our local guys have had a chance. If that's okay.
Who was Virginia with?
Oh, I'm sorry.
That's okay.
I thought they had already gone.
So Link was just wanting to see if local access, and then Ira, I think it was Word Chance, said the most dominant performance in Omaha so far has been the press conference moderator, who has blanked the FSU media contingent on questions to Link after back-to-back games, even despite Link trying to do a solid here. I guess UVA had somewhere important to be. Do you any comments?
Yeah, I responded. My response may be out there. You might be able to pull it up.
I think it got probable spammed.
It probably, No, I responded to Ira's.
I think you got blocked.
No, I responded very professionally. I don't, it doesn't matter. Forget it. Don't look for it. I'll tell you what it was. If you guys look on our thing. I responded to Ira because after the first game, Tennessee game, unless I'm hearing stuff, and I don't wear hearing aids yet, I heard Ira ask a question to Link Jarrett about, I think it was like, well, how do you come back from a loss like this? So Ira wasn't blanked out in that press conference, okay?
Well, he was saying his boy Brett Nevitt, who's covering for Knowles 24/7, I guess, got
well,
blanked out.
No, but that's not the way I read it. He said we getting blanked out. Okay, Ira didn't get blanked out in the first game. I'm just trying to be factual. That's what we try to do. I'm not here to hug on Ira or dislike Ira. Okay, what I'm saying.
Found your comment.
What? Okay, pull it up. I want to read it up. Pull it up.
I thought it was inappropriate.
Okay. Well, you thought it was inappropriate. You said take it down. I'm not taking it down. What's inappropriate? Ira, Ira, did you confront the press conference director and ask him why you were being blanked out? If not, then you will continue to eat shit sandwiches from him. That's fair. P.S.
That's not fair.
P.S. Didn't I hear you ask Link one question in the first post-game loss? Please clarify. I didn't get an answer.
I wonder why. I wonder why.
I'm trying to be nice, KB. I'm not nasty like a lot of people. I'm trying to be nice. And so I didn't quite understand. Now, if the press director there is an ass, then someone should talk to him in a professional manner. I don't think you have to throw punches at people. You go up and say, listen, I don't understand. Okay, I don't understand why we can't ask questions from our program in Tallahassee to the coach. What is the big deal? You know? And if you don't do that, a guy like that will exclude you. You don't think that press conference guy is going to see that comment from Ira? You might as well just go and have a professional conversation with the guy. That's my reaction.
All right. Well, we'll leave it there.
And right now, I don't have a response to my question that I put on there.
Maybe you should jump in his DMs.
Here's what I'm saying. If somebody's not paying attention to you, you think you're being mistreated or abused, go ask them about it.
Well, you thought that FSU media was mistreating you by not giving you access to football, so
they declined our media access. They didn't think we were legit.
Did you approach them personally?
I have not. You know why? Because
see, now you're.
You know why? If I lived in Tallahassee, then I probably would. And I haven't taken it off the list to confront them about what does it take. Okay, what are the qualifications? What is the path that you have to go through? They said you have to be a member of some association. What does that mean? What is the path through them? Listen, if I wanted to do it, I'm the guy to pursue it, okay? Because I don't stop. Ask Home Depot.
Okay. All right. Well, we'll leave it at that. Thank you all for joining us for tonight's show, recapping the weekend of baseball. We'll be back maybe sometime this week covering.
Yeah, we will. We'll have a show to
UNC game
wrap it up. Yeah.
Hopefully we'll be talking about the Tennessee matchup.
No, you know what we're going to be talking about? We're going to be talking about a national championship.
Hopefully.
That's what we're going to talk about, a redemption series against Tennessee. They haven't lost yet, have they?
Well, no.
Have they lost?
No, but even if we beat them, we only go to the final. That's not.
I know, but you still have to have two. You'd have to win. You'd have to win 2 out of 3 against them if they don't lose.
3 games in 3 days.
Right.
That's the deal.
Okay.
So it's going to be a long 3 days.
Everybody on board, get ready. Get ready.
Right.
You'll see a lot of pitchers running in there doing 1 or 2 innings and out. And that's what it's going to take. And that's what it'll be. That's where we're at. And I hope we'll be talking about a national championship. And then Ira can stand up and deliver as many questions as he wants because Link Jarrett will say, fire away, fire away.
All right. Well, good luck, FSU baseball. Hopefully we're talking about beating Tennessee here in a couple of days. So thank you all for joining us. Enjoy the show, like the show, share with a friend. We'll see you all very soon. Enjoy and have a great rest of your week. We'll talk with you soon. Go Noles and have a good one.
Love you guys.